One standard aspect of research has, right, always in systems is that you read a paper and then you implement the paper,
Mhm.
right? And then that is where you try and replicate the results, right?
Okay.
That is how all of us have been trained. In the world where a lot of these systems now require massive compute, it is often not possible to follow this recipe, right? You somewhere have to either assume that these results are right or you live with that question mark.
Hmm.
What are the implications of this step going away, where as a student or as a researcher, we're often taught to implement and reproduce the results? That step has gone away from the world of research today because of compute becoming the limitation.
Hmm.
Are you seeing any implications of that in terms of the way researchers are coming up or the way research is happening?
Uh, yes and no, right? Like I think it absolutely right. Like the modern paradigm is compute intensive, but it's compute intensive only for like kind of a subset of things, right? Like it's not for everything. So if you're not gonna train a model from scratch, or you're not gonna fine tune a very large model in a large setting, so you can, depending on the problem that you're working on, or these, your product directions, you can still try to reproduce a lot of things, right? Like there's a lot of interesting work that's happening, not in terms of, let me just talk about like LLMs and like, this kind of AI is, there's a lot of work in not necessarily creating this AI, but using it, right? Like, so you like leveraging this AI to solve a complex problem, right? And I think, and there is a lot of science and a lot of literature, even like on prompting and how to kind of constrain, LLMs to really get the type of response you want from it, like, so there is a lot of work that's happening in that direction. And we use that, like, we try to, by a lot of those things you can do on your computer also, right? So that's one. But in, you talked about compute, and surely, things are compute intensive, but compute is also getting cheaper, right? And not like very like large scale, but like, for example, today train like a GPT-2 model on a MacBook, right? Like, I mean, so, or even more, like, I think I'm trying to, you know fine tune some small language model like 5.3 on a MacBook. So you can try doing that. And okay, so, but I to agree with that, overall with you, that in general, if you want to really try to reproduce the research that you're reading, and like, if you are in this, space of saying, if you want to verify whether Llama 3 is gonna work as, they're saying it is on your data, and you want to kind of reproduce that, that's, really, really difficult task. But then, there are these like other things. It's also opening up new opportunities, right? In like, what, like Andrei Karpathy is tweeted a while ago saying, like, the hottest new programming language is English, right? So there's a lot of work that's happening, on top of LLM, and that, I think, the bar has been lowered, that anyone can try to kind of reproduce that, right? So I think that's, it's very interesting that I also feel sometimes that there are very complicated things that I want to do, and I don't have resource for it, and but then it's also, at this point there are a lot of things that I can do, which, I wasn't able to do a while ago. So I think, yeah, makes, I have mixed feelings about it. Like, it depends on the day you ask me. Sometimes that I want that,